Hello friends, welcome to the world of Lean Six Sigma. Some of you have been requesting me to create a video on how to do a successful BPMS project. BPMS stands for Business Process Management System. In BPOs, when the process is transitioned, there are so many surprises post transition. So the BPMS methodology which I am going to talk about today will lead to zero surprise transitions. So let's get started with the video. These are the 7 steps of a BPMS methodology. Step number 1 is building process framework.
The objective of this step is to create business case,
Process criticality and project schedules, validating process steps and process maps.
The acceptance criteria of this particular step is
A holistic business case with clear framework outlined for the project, revalidating process maps and standard operating procedures.
and the last one is to share the voice of customer.
The tools that can be used in this particular process step are Project Charter, Copis, Process Maps, and Project Schedule. The second step is to identify if there are any operational risks which are present or not.
The objective of this step is to baseline and process design assessment.
Full-time employee estimation, and the third thing is creation of operational FMEA. The acceptance criteria for this particular step are check for rigor and calculations on baseline and FTE estimation,
Creation of risk meter for current performance, and incorporation of nuances for operational FMEA.
The tools that can be used in this particular phase are baseline and FTE assessment methodology and operational FMEA model.
The third step is finalizing input, process, and output matrix.
The objective of this step is to identify these input, process, and output measures so that the process functions effectively and the customer needs are being met.
The acceptance criteria for this is to identify matrix with respect to process and customers. And the tool that can be used here is input, process, and output metric guide.
So I have separate videos on all of these particular tools which I'm talking about. I'll attach the link of these videos in the description box. The fourth step of the BPMS 7-step methodology is to set up a measurement system. Create data collection plan and perform gauge RNR are the objectives of this particular step. It is very important to correct statistically validated data samples and perform gauge repeatability and reproducibility.
The acceptance criteria of this particular step are
Check for operational and calculation definitions of metrics. It is important to define the operational definition and the formulas for the metrics which we are defining so that everybody collects the data in the same way. In this particular step, rigor on gauge RNR and sampling techniques should be given. The tools that are used in this phase are data collection template and gauge RNR. The fifth step is setting up reporting structure.
the objective of this step is to
Create escalation metrics if there are any problems in the process later on. Who should it be escalated to? The governance structure, the regular weekly, monthly, and quarterly meetings between the different governing bodies of the customer as well as the business. Reporting automation and dashboard designs are also part of this particular process step. The acceptance criteria is automating reports through Spotfire and other means, creating governance structure with customer sign off. The tools, governance structure template.
the next step of the methodology is visual management standardization.
The objective of this is to create a visual management that is to be implemented with institutionalized framework and organizing Gamba walk. The acceptance criteria is the snapshots of visual management on the floor and Gamba floor walk plan with timelines and the owners, revised risk meter with reduced RPN score. The tools that can be used in this phase are visual management metric template and to-do visual management elements and Gamba checklist. The seventh step of the BPMS methodology is continuous improvement roadmap. The objective of this particular step is to create a line of sight for transformational initiatives and changes. The acceptance criteria is customer or the process roadmap that you have to create and the opportunities identified with clear owners and timelines. Opportunity means improvement opportunities. Transformation roadmaps are the tools that can be used in this particular step. So this is the 7-step BPMS methodology. So let us understand with the help of an example how this methodology can be implemented actually in a transition process. The case is in a BPO, there is an account of 216 full time employees that has to be transitioned to Bangalore Center. This team will do invoice processing business. Black Belt was assigned to do a zero surprise transition, means after the transition, there should not be any escalations from the end customer. Create a project charter, the first step. So, business case has to be defined. Give a precise background about the account, process, sub process, and share some relevance around starting a small BPMS project. So, why do you want to start a BPMS project? Is the relevance that you should provide. Some critical information to be shared as part of the business case: which vertical this business is coming in, what is the name of the client, which practice it goes to, how many FTEs are there, and what is the process type. You should also mention the transition start date in this particular slide. The process criticality should also be explained, key deliverables through the project, and boundaries of the project and team charter is to be included as part of the overall process charter. This is the charter from the example that I am showing. To transition 216 full-time employee process with zero surprise operations by July 2020 is the goal. Building the process framework will start on 14th of March 2020 and it will end on 15th of July 2020. The sponsor is the Vice President Operations, champion is the AVP Operations, mentor is Mohit Sharma, process owner is Transition Manager, team members are Operations Manager A, B, and C. Next is to create the ARMY chart. It is part of the building process framework. So you have to define who all are your stakeholders here, and then what is their role? Are they sponsor, champion, mentor? What is their role in the process? So when the risk assessment will happen, they will approve.
When the measurement system will be tested, they will be the members. In insights and improvement section, there will be approvers and resources respectively. In any BPMS project, communication plan should be clearly defined.
Monthly reviews will happen, tollgate reviews will happen, project review with mentor will happen, and resource meetings will happen. What is their frequency? What is the message which is going? Who all will be the audience? Whose responsibility is this to arrange these meetings? And what is the medium? Medium means whether it is a face-to-face meeting or on a call meeting, what kind of meeting it is.
The most important part of any BPMS methodology or any BPMS project is to create operational failure mode effect analysis,
in which the failure mode is identified. I'll take one example to explain. Volume or FT baselining is the process step that has to be performed. Potential failure mode is what is to be done. Process FT baselining during transitions. Potential effect of the failure is if this is not done correctly, what will happen? Full-time employee finalized are less than the required number. What is the severity? It is a high severity number because the SLAs will not be met and customers' business will suffer. So a high score is given. Potential cause of the failure is incorrect full-time employee mapping is done. The occurrence is 5 because it happens sometimes, so the occurrence is given as 5. What are the current controls? FT baseline done on the time provided by the customer. Because customer has given you some information, it was not done practically on the ground. So on the basis of that, the baselining is done. So the detection is there, but it is not that strong. So the score is 6. RPN score, which is the multiplication of severity, occurrence, and detection, gives you 270. When this RPN score is greater than 100, it means we have to create a mitigation plan. Recommended action is that we need to do FT baselining in the first 15 days of transition with the real people on the floor doing transactions. Responsibility, whose responsibility is this? Operations or the transition manager who is responsible. After implementing this, after doing the correct FT baselining, the severity, occurrence, and detection scores are again calculated and a new RPN is calculated, which is multiplication of these three: severity into occurrence into detection, which is 36 in this case. Once these RPN scores are less than 100, we go ahead and say, okay, there is no risk in the process. You can transition successfully. The next step is to do the FTE baselining. I'll give you a small example. The type of transaction. There are some transactions which take lesser time, some transactions which take more time. So you have to define the type of transaction, their daily volume, how much time it takes to process one transaction. This is actually time and motion study which was done on the floor with the FTs working. Total time required is the multiplication of 700 into 3.5, which is 2450. How to calculate the FT requirement? So for that we will see There are 8 hours of working minus 1 break, which is 480. So total time with 10% absenteeism, 90% of 480 is 384. So this 2450 is to be divided by 384 will give you number of FTEs required. So total FT requirement for this particular process is 216. This is how the full-time employees should be validated. So this is called FT baselining. Next is to finalize the input, process and output matrix. What is the input that is coming in? The input should be correct and it should be on time. The process should be fully productive. So there should be some process metrics and there are metrics which the end customers will like, which are called the output metrics, like turnaround time and accuracy of the output. So this is how input, process and output metrics are defined in the project. I have a separate video on this. I'll share the link. Next is to do a data collection plan. So there is a data collection plan that you have to create and then start collecting data. Before you collect data, you should do gauge RNR, which is called
setting up the measurement system.
There are 4 aspects of this measurement system. First one is the accuracy.
Whatever data the team is collecting, they should collect it accurately. Second thing the team should check is the repeatability. It means the person should be able to repeat himself over a period of time. Today I'm saying it is a correct transaction. After 15 days, I should also say this is a correct transaction.
It means the person is repeating himself. The next is called reproducibility. It is between two individuals.
If a person is saying it is a correct transaction, the other person should also say the same. And stability means variation obtained when the same person measures the same unit with the same equipment over an extended period of time. Which means person should be able to take same readings whether he is active or fresh in the morning or he is tired towards the evening. So there should not be any variation because of this factor.
And this is the kind of data that is collected. I have a separate video on this, so I'll share the link in the description box.
The next step is to create escalation metrics. During transition, people should be aware of what is the responsiveness. If the escalation happens, it should be responded in less than 24 hours, 48 hours or less than 5 days. Who is the point of contact? If the response is not received, who should we escalate this to? The next is the occurrence of the same issue. If it is happening greater than 1 time, 3 times or 5 times, the point of contact, and if they are not responding, we should escalate to. Quality should be 99.8% and on-time delivery should be 100%. If the team is not meeting, point of contact and point of escalation should be shared. Visual management and standardization involves creation of the dashboards. Visual management means managing the process visually. So dashboard helps manage the process visually. So these dashboards are one of the visual management tools. So this is a Lean Six Sigma DNA dashboard, which is also one of the ways to visually show people that how many people are trained, how many people are certified on Lean and Six Sigma, in which line of business maximum people are trained and tested and certified, how many projects are closed and how many projects are ongoing. So all of this can be seen in one snapshot in one slide. So that is the power of visual management.
The last but not the least, this is the most important step. Continuous improvement roadmap is to be created. Identifying improvement opportunities, listing them as the improvement idea, which process it belongs to, who is the owner, what is the status of this idea, and creating a roadmap. Like in next 6 months, what will happen, which all projects will be implemented, and what is the kind of impact that we will generate from these processes.
If a team transitions a process by implementing BPMS methodology, there is a guarantee that there would be no surprises post-transition.
So friends, I hope you understood what is BPMS methodology and how it should be implemented in a newly transitioned process. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. I will see you in my next upcoming video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.